Welcome. Welcome. All right. This particular stream isn't going to be long because it's for this person's charts. They deserve a long go. They deserve a long analyzation, and I am not ready to do that yet. Hold on a second. So let me take care of some things. I'm going to wait for some people here. I don't think we're getting a lot of people today. That's okay. I'm drinking some water here, and I'm starting off with, hey, Canada Dry, see you in chat. Hello. James Sanders, welcome. I see you too. There's a bunch of you. So, hey, you got another impromptu stream about a famous person, whatever. But, I picked the Red Lotus. I picked the Red Lotus to talk to here to start the stream, right? So I had 20 people join in, and I see 12 watching now, all of a sudden 13. It's kind of funny what happens. People hit the notification, and then they expect to see my face. Here, I'll show you my face. Okay, for those coming in, here it's real. I'm not going to do some trippy thing in the beginning, or am I? Am I going to do some trippy thing like I usually do on these streams? I mean, I could, but let's just go back to the Red Lotus. Actually, wait a second. I'm going to do a trippy thing. I am going to do something. Why don't I start this stream like this? Just kind of get the move going. Get it going. You know what I mean? Yeah. You feel that? Now, I think I could do this stream. I think I could do this because I got my something going on here. You're pushing me here. I got my beats. You feel that? It's like we're at a 4th of July barbecue EDM party. So what do I got this Red Lotus here? Man, we got to speed it up. There we go now. Here we go. Now let's do a live stream. Let's do it. Let me feel this out. There we go. Let's do this. We got the spinning lotus. We got this beat. I don't know what the tempo is on this. It's going though. You drink your coffee. Some of you doing that taurine Red Bull stuff, Rockstar drink. I don't do that stuff. But this is where we're going. We're getting ready for the game here. See, we're getting ready for the game. So we got this Red Lotus. We got this. We're gonna talk about Cristiano's chart. We're only a little bit though. Only a little bit. Canada Dry, thanks for the super chat with wings. Canada Dry showing up with the super chat with a bunch of white wings. Okay? So I got my beats today. I got some delay here. Wait a second. Come on, we could snap that, but we'll do it like this. That's it. Now this is astrology at work. That's it. This is the beat I've been on in the last 24 hours. I've been on this beat, and just my head just going, dude. All right. It's getting hot in here, like not because of the music, but it's getting hot outside in this room, so I can't do this for too long. Yeah, let's talk about a chart. Wait a second, I gotta do something to this. There we go. All right. Now I'm ready to do this. Said hi to JRP Jilly. Happy 4th to you in chat. James Sanders, Darlene, greetings to you. Kay says, such a wonderful surprise. I haven't seen you were going to do this, but just saw the live now, and that's what happens. Thanks for the notification. Danny, what's up? And Yelena, yay. So, let's do this. All right. See, now I'm ready to roll. Now I could do this. Hey, this guy's name is Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a world famous celebrity, football, soccer star, depending where you're from. We say soccer, football. Eve Alta Travels, hello to you in chat. Again, Canada Dry, thanks for the super chat, as they call it here on YouTube. It's a donation. You know, people could super chat, they could donate on this thing, and I appreciate y'all doing that stuff. So this stream is kind of funny because it's just so you know. Do you know this person? I mean, do you know who Cristiano Ronaldo is? I mean, world famous football player, you know, from Portugal. He's one of the most famous ever, one of the best to ever play the game, according to a lot of people. The Euro Cup's going on right now, the European Championship, soccer, football championships. We got massive games that are happening tomorrow we're in the knockout stages of this. We're in the quarterfinals of this. So if you lose, you're out. We had a knockout game earlier this week. Cristiano plays for Portugal. They got really lucky the other day of beating a certain team to go through to the next round on penalty kicks. There was a moment in the game where Cristiano had a penalty opportunity to put his team up 1-0, and he actually missed it from a great save of the goalkeeper, pulled this amazing save out. But there was this whole wild scene that happened afterwards because it was an extra time, or it was going in extra time, and you know, they were going into extra time, and there was a scene of him losing it and crying, and then the camera put the cameras on his mom in the stand who was crying. It was total drama, and that's football. That's world football. So anyway, we're going to look at this. There's interesting thing about this person. Now, this is not going to cover who this person is, their history, and their timeline. That is a longer kind of stream that will take an hour and a half to do. And I'm not ready to do that. I've been looking at this chart for a while, though, back and forth over the years. But then a curveball got thrown at me here with all this, because I found it very interesting. That when we go to Astrodeanist, and I don't know if you know Astrodeanist. I feel like I'm really loud on the mic, and I have to put it away from me a little bit because the last live stream I was really heavy on the mic. So I just want to show you something. Astrodeanist is a website many people go to. It's part of astro.com. Many people get the charts made. It's Astro Data Bank, and this is kind of the place, the formal place that one goes to look for birth times, or birth times are registered there. And there's a rating system by Lois Rodden, who was an astrologer in the late 20th century, who developed the Rodden rating system. And people look, and when they find and dial in birth times, they will submit it to this website, and it'll be put up there. Now, you see a lot of websites out there now that have supposed birth times, and so on and so forth. And I don't trust any of them. There's only 2 that I trust. And it's Astro.com, AstroDNist, and AstroSeek, which are probably going to be looking at this. Any of the other ones you see, Astro Theme coming out of France, all these other ones, it's all hearsay. If you see some crazy birth time that somebody's claiming on TikTok of like Taylor Swift chart, it's bullshit because there's no confirmed birth time, okay? So stuff like that. So we're looking at this and we come to this site and, you know, I came here. I'm like, okay, as you can see here, there is his birth time at 5:25 a.m., okay? I should magnify this more. And you see it has a Rodden rating C, which isn't the best. It's kind of middle of the road or less. And you're like, why? Why is the accuracy in question here? And I'm going to get to that. You can see there's an alternative birth time that they're throwing in on this box. Let's see if I could do something here that will hopefully... let me do this. No, Nicholas. That is that and the plus sign. So if I go, where is the plus sign? All right, so this will make it better. You can see here that is a birth time, and we'll get into what it is. We're at 5:25 a.m. in Funchal. If I can say that, Funchal, Portugal, Madeira. It's like an island there in Portugal. You see Rodden rating C. The collector was Trindall, who's the founder of Astro.com, who runs it. Accuracy in question. You can see here that also that that there's another birth time here that they're claiming, and it has to do with his mother. So it says from mother, and it says 10:20 a.m. Now, as you know, rising sign changes, you know, every hour and something. So this is a pretty big deal. A legit birth time on the Rodden rating system is going to be AA or A, and it's usually coming from a confirmed birth time. Okay, and the interesting thing about all this is if you go down in the source notes here, you're going to see some interesting talk about the birth time in itself, saying that in a YouTube video, a certain video, it says that Ronaldo was born at 10:20 a.m. and that in some other biography, it was claimed. So it appears that Coyote quotes the mother who said, "My husband and I both like the name Ronaldo after Ronald Reagan." That's unfortunate. The biography snippet on the right was posted in the AstroDNist forum. So they're talking about a certain thing here that in a biography, in a book, it says it was here. Cristiano was born at 10:20 a.m. on Tuesday the 5th at this certain hospital. Now, in this bio here, they're also saying a certain Portuguese astrologer was finding birth times on birth certificates, and it was on the birth certificate from where he's from, it's 5:25 a.m. So basically, on the birth certificate, it's 5:25 a.m. His mom is claiming 10:20 a.m. So we'll look quickly at both. I have an opinion on which one, and I'll show you in a second. Danny, I follow up my son and grandson. I know he's great. Blah blah blah. Okay, so let's just do this really quick, and I just want to focus on the 2 charts and then the game tomorrow, and that's it. Okay, I don't want to talk about his past life or when he got married and the twins and the controversies and the trophies and whatever. That's for another live stream, another time. So, and I will, if I can find it, there are 2 colleagues of mine who did, astrology colleagues who did a stream on him not too long ago. That's pretty good, actually. And I will put that in the comments here later if you remind me. So, what was I saying? So, we're going to go here. Now, here in this chart is the birth time of 5:25 a.m. that's on the birth certificate. And actually, I'll put that link up for them. Here are the people. I'll put this link in the chat. Okay, this is Yasmina, Katrina, 2 other astrologers that I know who did a stream on Cristiano. Okay, and I'm gonna put that link for later. That's just to archive that. They got a really good stream. I watched it a while back too. I joined them when they're live. They did it in March, so you could see Yasmina's channel. Hi, Yasmina. How are you? If you happen to see this. But there it is. I put that in the chat. Okay. So I think they did a really good job for like breaking down past stuff in this thing, right? And there's other people who have done stuff, but we're in current times. I have my reasons for doing this. James says in chat, there is already more informative on chart accuracy than I've seen elsewhere. This could be due to my own niggas. I love learning. Okay. If you tell me, you could put stuff in or send it to me later, my friend, if you got something on a link. And I don't know if people can drop in links here the way I have it set up. So, okay, let's do this. So you could see here from the 525 time, he is a Capricorn rising at 3 degrees. And you could see Neptune there is on his ascendant. Okay, so Capricorn rising, the ruler being Saturn in Scorpio with the South Node. Okay, so there's a Saturn story, Neptune story completely going on here off the bat. We also want to make a note of this moon in Leo. The biggest thing here from the athlete's perspective and what it is you could see the Venus and Mars conjunction that happens in Aries. This is a warrior. You know, anybody who's got Mars in Aries, you know how hot they run. And if they don't have an outlet to do it, they get really cranky. And they do things that are in a raw, instinctual, and infinitesimal place sometimes. But basically sword and shield here, and we're talking about sports and gladiators and the pitch and football. This person's built for it, right? And I'm not going to make a call here on which, because I'm going to show you the other rising sign here, right? And I'm going to bring a particular incident that has nothing to do with football, but his life in the past. One thing, and then we'll look at the chart for tomorrow. So there you go. Obviously, he's in a weirdo Aquarius rising. And I think here, we see a waxing full moon phase person, by the way, here. It wasn't exact yet on that day, but you see 10 degrees Leo moon. Did I get this correct? Let me make sure I got the birth time correct on all this. I see, and let's do it on air. So February 5th, 1985, I have that there at 5:25 a.m. There it is. I have that. Boom, I got it. Okay, so there's Leo moon. You know any Leo moons in your life? Let me stop right here. Let me stop right now. You know any Leo moons in your life? You better have a well of attention to give to a person with a Leo moon. Depending on where the Leo moon is in the chart, you better have it together in your head. If that you're going to be around this person, there is a spotlight that they need. Now, depending on the Leo moon and the aspects going on and where is in the chart, it depends on the spotlight that they need. And it also depends on how in tune they are with their Leo moon is in the fulfillment of it. And when it's balanced, what type of spotlight and how much do you need? How much do they need moon, essential needs moon. How much does a Leo moon need until they're satisfied? Okay, so again, I'm being a smart ass right now, but at the same time, it's very real. Now, the reciprocal part of this is their well is full. They will, for those that they are close with in a balanced relational situation, I think, Leo moons will give you some of the biggest, warmest hugs and bring you along and take care of you and share in their expression and love and generosity. And that's part of the Leo moon story. But we're going to go back the other way. How much attention does a Leo moon need? And man, like if you're not in that type of person, if you're not that type of person and you are partnered up with them and stuff, you better make that call real quick whether you want to walk that journey or not. Okay, I'm just being real with you. It could be a lot of fucking work. So I'm looking at the chat right now. I'm reading it. I'm not saying anything. I'm reading it. So here we have a Leo moon. And we have, by degree, it's pretty wide, but we got some wide fire trine going on with Venus and Mars here. Now, we know everything's legit here. The rising, we don't know. Capricorn rising. I want to point something else out here. We have Jupiter in 29 degrees. Capricorn, regardless of where the rising is major Neptune in Jupiter Capricorn, or in Capricorn, is chart to Jupiter itself, and it is fueled by this Saturn in the North Node. And we have to remember that, anyway, that's all I'm going to say. I'm doing this really quick. Chat says, what is chat? Let's just go to chat here before I do this. Wake Me From This is in here. What's up? I'm waking you up, or you're waking me up. Interesting Mars-Venus connection. Really interesting thinking of Neptune on the AC for him. Some people do. They think that. Angela, what's up? Yes, Leo Moons, you're right. Yes, trust me. I wouldn't say you like that if I didn't know. Okay? If I didn't experience. You know that Jimi Hendrix song, Are You Experienced? You could take that for what it is for many different ways. Well, I'm damn experienced in the Leo Moon shit. That's for sure. Okay, so let's say that. Hi, Mandy Bailey. It says how much they need depends on what phase they're in right now, right? Yeah, well. Shayla, Dawn. Oh, wow, yes. All right. Myra, my son, Leo Moon, and awareness is key. Yes, totally. All right, so let's go. Now, let's look at the other chart. This is going to be mom time. You're going to see here, you could see there, I have it, mom. You could see the M up there, and this is the 10:20 a.m. birth time, and we're going to look. And hey, just so happens at the 10:20 a.m. birth time that Aries is on the ascendant, and you could see how Mars and Venus are on the ascendant. Now, Neptune's on the top of the chart. See, Neptune, no matter this changes with these two charts, you see the cardinal angles going on here and how Neptune is prevalent regardless. Okay, so there's that. And Saturn ain't changing, but again, you see a slightly different degree of the Leo Moon in the 5th here. This is from the whole sign perspective. By the way, this can shift if you do it another way. So, now, let's keep it simple. When you have Mars, Venus together in Aries, this is passion, very raw and passionate fire here that has no filters, doesn't want any filters, and it wants what it wants now. Not just as the Mars and Aries perspective from competing or from getting what it wants, but if it's mixed in with Venus here in the conjunction, it is like one and the same from whether it's running at the ball on the pitch or the hot girl across the room that this person wants. They will have that person. At least that's what they think, and that's what they're trying to do, and they will prance their way in. Sword and shield, and along with this Leo Moon, there's a cockiness involved here. There is an expression something. Now, I'm not dissing on this. We're being real about this, okay? So saying that, Mandy makes a really good point in chat. This is why when I was looking at this stuff, you're bringing up a point where I'm leaning to things here. Mandy says the warrior makes more sense in the 1st rather than the 4th, especially if he's so physically active. And what Mandy is saying here is when we deal with the 1st, we're dealing with vitality and our energy source going out and rising out into the world. That's the big part of what the 1st house is in your rising sign. So, Mandy, I actually feel this chart more than the other one. And I'm also, Mandy, yes, this guy's a soccer player. I love how you don't know who this is, and that's perfect. That's why we're doing this. And Mandy, I'm going to throw the Wikipedia link in the chat, not just for you, for other people. Let's just do this. You could see him here. Mofo Cristiano. You could see him right here. It's an older picture of him. It looks like earlier this year. Very famous career. Came through a Portuguese team, then Manchester United, then to play for the biggest teams, one of the biggest teams in the world, Real Madrid. Eventually played in Italy for Juventus. Then left and came back to Man U for a little bit. And then we're not going to get into that. Ended up in Saudi Arabia the last year and a half or whatever, playing over there. Okay, so I'm from the athlete's perspective, hold on. Okay, I need to put this on the side. We have let's just point this out. We could see here that Neptune, regardless, right here is at 2 degrees, and it squares his Mars and Venus. So this whole warrior mentality and this whole relational thing, there is a Neptune square on this. And so I would think in his personal life, the romanticism, the cavaliering, I think there's a traditional cavaliering involved here of how this person deals relationally and what they do. And there is an aura or a mystique around it. And I'm not even talking about him as a football player yet. I'm talking about just him and relating to the world and how he's showing up in the world with Neptune on his angles. And then you got Mars and Venus there. There is this person, in a sense, is destined for whether it's on the pitch, whether it was going to be in the city, if he never became famous in that way, he would have been seen in a certain way with a certain packaging around him that lends itself to fantasy and idealism. Neptune square Venus, and for the better or worse. Okay, so, but now, since we're talking about a famous person, we could see here, if Neptune at the top of his chart or is on his ascendant, that it's the mystique, the aura's there, right? And he's presenting themselves, and he believes it. He believes it. He's already believing whatever he's into. We're talking like we don't know what he does yet. He's already believing in whatever he's into because of his Venus-Mars. The engine, Mars in the chart, and what he has to do and cannot help but do. Fight, win, crash, burn, do it again. I must have it again, 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 and again until he passes out like a puppy at night and passes out and does it again in the thing. And by the way, Mars and Aries people, they need to run around. They need to be pushed. They need to sweat. And if they don't, they become very angry. They become very caustic. And they will do side tangential things that can, on the long term, can be very harmful in their lives towards themselves and other people. And I tell people when Mars and Aries that they need to remediate this particular planet in their chart, and they need to move their body. If they're not smashing and tumbling and shooting for and whatever, that they're going to be off kilter. Anyway, along with Neptune here, there is a mystique here, as we say. So want to point this out. I think it's one of the biggest things in this chart for now. And yes, so here we are. So we also have, we're going to point this out. I just need to do this because I can't help it, is that Uranus in this chart. Where is Uranus in this particular chart? I'm sticking with this one, and I'm going to tell you why. You could see Uranus in Sagittarius at 17 degrees, sextiles his sun. Okay, so we have something else here from a inventive point of view, a different way of doing things from his core place to sun. This person that's energy out in the world is an Aquarius, even though it's ruled by Saturn also, but this Uranus is sextiling it, and we have fire and air coming over here that needs to elevate it, needs to move it needs to try things differently, and has the spark per se, personality-wise. Okay, so there's that. We will go into Venus here. If this is the case, as you remember here, it's going to square its midheaven too along with Neptune. Let's not forget that. We also know that it's happening here at the top and bottom of his chart. If you're going to take this chart into consideration in the last year and a half of stuff, you already know that the eclipses has been in this person's world affecting the 1st and 7th if this is the chart. And we know that we're not done with the nodes being in Aries Libra, and they're moving towards this particular ascendant and these cardinal degrees at 2 to 3 here. It's going to take a little bit, but it's going there. So okay, so there's that. Let's keep going. I did that. Let's point out something else here. We're going to go to his Mercury. You see that, right? So we go to his Mercury, and we know it's making connections. A sextile to his ascendant and a trine to his Libra descendant. Okay, this is pretty big, also because of the way this person not only speaks, but the way their mind works and how their mind is constructing new things and new ways of doing things. But it does need stability of Saturn, and the sextile with Aries, it's giving the calculations of the Mercury in Aquarius that it does, and it's feeding the calculative movement, or then the movements of the warrior of Mars and Aries, let's say on the battlefield, on the playing field, and in relationships, right? So there is an interesting thing happening here, and I think this could be very charming in a sense. Never mind the Neptune Venus Mars square, okay? But I think there's something about Mercury and Aquarius, about the way they come across, the way, if you know anybody has any Aquarius tendencies, I mean, you've been watching one for 2 years. I got a ton of Aquarius, but there is a way of coming across that is I almost used the word robotic, but it's not. It's more calculative in a sense, but open, and the mind's open, and there is movement happening. But the movement is very Saturnian. Okay, so you have to get this. There is a method to the madness that Mercury and Aquarius has. There is a method, actually, and it's not just experimentation. There was experimentation going on behind the scenes in the person's brain, too. You just get to see it in certain other moments. But they were working in the lab in the brain for a while. And that kind of attitude and that kind of way of being. Also needing the space. High ceilings for the mind to process is combined with Mars and Venus here, and also, in a sense, helps them in their partnership part of the house. Not saying that it works all the fucking way, but anyway, so just saying that's off the top of my head. We have and I'm going to keep going. I'm pointing out certain things right there, and that's it. Now, before I get to tomorrow, hi, Clean Music Lover. I maybe one day, if I'm feeling it, if I do stuff like this, I have to be connected to a situation if I'm going to do RFK Juniors in the future. But if I do that, I might as well do Gavin Newsom's. I might as well do vice presidents. I might as well do me, and I should actually run for effing president, because all these mofos are all over the place. They're all fumbling over the words. So anyway, okay, so I want to tell you why I think it's a 10/20 aim birth chart before we get to the thing, okay? So here's the start time for the game. That's not what I want. Here, and I don't know the exact thing, but as anybody who follows this player, there's biographies, a lot of stuff, know about a story with his father. Now, Cristiano, the way he came up and grew up, is very hard. Won't get into that. The link I put earlier of Katrina and Yasmina talking about a chart on the other YouTube channel, they talk about this stuff a lot. I have my opinions on this because I've been reading stuff for a little bit here. I'll do another live stream another time. I don't want to get into it, but I picked this particular thing that has nothing to do with him getting a Ballon d'Or, which is, the awards, being the best soccer player in the world that goes out every year. He's won a bunch of that. So many trophies, so many this, records broken, okay? I won't get into any of that. But I will show this chart. Now, this is the September 15th, 2005. I picked, it's 10:13 p.m. It's not official. It's not official, the time. But here, if I go, when I was just looking, bear with me here. Bear with me. Personal life. Let's do this like this. We're going to zoom. It says here that Ronaldo's father, Jose, died of alcoholism-related liver condition. His dad was an alcoholic at age 52. In September 2005, Ronaldo was 20. Okay, so now think about this, because when you're 20 years old, you're walking into, I didn't even have to look at the chart, but you're walking into your Saturn, one of your Saturn squares to your Saturn. But I picked this particular thing, okay, September 2005, right? So here on the outside is September 2005. It's 10:13 p.m. is what I have here, I think, on the outside. And there was a couple things that I saw. It was weird. It's not definitive for me. So let me make sure I get this correct. September 2005. Maybe I'll prove myself wrong on the stream. It's the other chart. So I was looking at this, and this is the 10:20 a.m. mom birth time. But I was looking at where Chiron was in this chart on his Jupiter. Okay, now. Look where the nodes were in all this. And this is where we are now, by the way. So you're looking at 2005 here, where the eclipses here, or the nodes, were happening in Aries, North Node, Aries, South Node, whatever. Okay, so I just was looking at that, and I was also noticing Saturn was in Leo. I also noticed that Mars was on his North Node, and then I saw Venus coming through in his 8th. Now, this isn't proven to me what it is. Now, I could, again, did I get the time? Let me make sure I get this right. Again, September 2005. So we don't know. I picked September 15th. So we don't know. We're going to know now. We're going to do it right now. Now we see September 6th. So we're going to go there. All right. So we're going to change this. Part of the reason I did this was to do it live. So I'm going to do it like this. Okay. All right. Now, okay, we'll do it. Here we go. We could see here that everything here is happening here, and South Node in his 7th. The eclipse is pretty much. We have the Chirons there. Mars is on. Mars square. Mars square Sun. Mars square Mercury. Saturn on his moon. Saturn opposite his Mercury. Saturn there. Neptune opposite his moon right there. Neptune, Mercury, Neptune, nope, Pluto, nope, and Venus, nope, and we have a Sun, Uranus square, but that's by transiting Sun, and then we have Venus. Okay, I just did that really quick. Okay, and then we're gonna go here. We're gonna pick this one, the other birth time, and we're gonna take a look, and then we're gonna go. This is what I do by myself, by the way. And we see Mars squares its Sun, and then we see the Jupiter Sun trine, and I know what's going to happen in this chart. I just remember what the other one looks like. And then Neptune is Moon, and there is the Venus. Yeah, nothing's changing there. And then we go right there. Okay, and so that's 5:25 a.m. 6:15. Blah blah blah. So now I'm at a loss here. Because this 5:25 a.m. chart has Saturn going through his 8th, closer to his moon. And we're looking at the dad's death. So here's the day, if that's the day. Is Neptune on his Sun? Regardless? We know that's happening. Jupiter on top of his midheaven and hitting his IC. Venus is there in the bottom of his chart. The traditional perspective is the top of the chart. The 10th is mother. The bottom of the chart is father, right? So, okay. Yeah, and Mandy, you're seeing what I'm seeing. I mean, I already saw the Saturn thing, but I'm also thinking the top and bottom of the chart. So I don't know. I don't know which birth time it is, because from this dad's death perspective, it looks like it's this chart here. It looks like it's the 5:25 a.m. chart, right? So, and where the hell, what? There we go. What is it? 2005 we saw? 2005, that's not there yet. Eclipse happens. The nearest eclipse that happened was a 10 Libra. 10. Well, there's a 4 Scorpio, but there's that. Okay. Was 10 Libra. So, anyway, sorry. I don't know how public it was, Mandy. I mean, it was known that his father died. Listen, it's been known about his father and the things of how sensitive and was with his father, and the times there's certain accolades that he has achieved and was able to do, especially after 2005, where it's always been a sensitive issue for him, even publicly, or because his father wasn't around to see a huge part of a lot of stuff that happened in his career. So it's publicly known about this, and he's very sensitive to it. So anyway, there's that type of thing. I'm not going to speak on that because I'm currently doing some more research on this. In that other video I put in earlier of 2 other astrologers in the beginning of the stream, she talks about this a little bit, but I, in particular, was trying to look at something that was not an athletic achievement, and I wanted to see what it is. Now, I could go look at kids being born and stuff. I don't want to. I was wondering which birth time it's correct. If the hospital says 5:25 a.m., but the mother is saying something else, and why would the hospital put 5:25 a.m. and then the mother say it was 10:20 or whatever in the morning, like 5 hours later? Who's off here? Now, some moms I've met, they know when their kid was born. Other ones they're in a process of doing the ultimate thing in the universe, bearing a child. Okay, so things can get a little they're somewhere else, and somebody else is supposed to take the birth times and do that, right? So we don't know, but it's weird because usually it would be flipped. Usually it would be a parent or a mother saying, "Oh, my child was born at," you would think it would be let's say the mother saying 5:25 a.m. and the hospital saying no or whatever. So maybe the mom came in at 5:30 in the morning, was already in labor, and then 5 hours later it was officially done, and then the hospital recorded it. There was a scenario like this, but why the other way around? Why is she saying later than why would the hospital put that time down? Now, it's sort of rounded there, 5:25. I don't know. So anyway, I kind of came in with the other chart. Now looking at this death chart with Dad, I'm feeling like it's 5:25. So I don't know. I could say that. Let's look at something else one more time. Let me just see something. Actually, you know what I want to see? I want to see this. I want to see that. Okay, so this is a progressed chart. And we're going to do there. No, that's Dad's death. That's a different one that I did. And we're going to save that Dad's death actually there. And then we're going to go. Actually, I want that one there. And no. I want this. And I want to go back to I think it was 2005, and then we're going to go like this. There. That's good enough right there. And then we'll go back to that, and we'll go look at something here. So, progress Jupiter on his Mercury. No. I don't know. I thought I was feeling the 10:28 birth time. We're going to look at both. All right. This is why I did a quick one and why I wanted to just put it all up on here. All right. So I'm missing something. I got to do more research. I'm missing something on the birth time. I'm missing a calculation. I'm doing a quick version. I'm doing a quick version of things, and it's not satisfying me. And I need to look at something here. It's there. Okay, that's what I need to look at. I need to see something on my own stream. I'm just talking to myself right now. I said I'm missing something. I know I'm missing something. So, okay, I need to see something. There it is. Okay, so, all right. So, let's do mañana. Now, you can go look up the highlights of the game the other day where he missed a penalty kick and was in tears. Now, I got to say this, man. I'm just going to say it. Great player. One of the best. Him and Lionel Messi, there's a bunch of people. But him crying the other day and the whole deal is just kind of in his nature to be expressive in many ways. But you have never seen him cry publicly. You only see him a couple times during the game where it's happened. But you see him cry publicly with other stuff that remind him of his dad, or he won an award, or something to do with his mom, all that kind of stuff. But the other day was full drama queen. It was full Leo Moon, full this drama, ego. And the thing is about Cristiano is 39 years old. He's a great player and has a wild history, an amazing history as a football player with so much writing. I think he is the most followed person on Instagram. He's up there with The Rock and Lionel Messi. They're like, he's like the most. He is honestly, him and Lionel Messi, who is another footballer from Argentina. Those two people are probably the most popular, most famous people in the world. And the reason is because football, soccer, is the number one thing in the world. The number one sport. The number one thing that language, besides sex and orgasms and food and music, that binds people together. And if you don't know football, you can still watch the game. You don't have to speak some other country's language. The rules are the same. Football is beyond. It is religion. It is spiritual. It's everything for many people in this world. Okay, so saying that, you imagine one of the most famous people in the world who is banked on his ego and his prowess as a player, the cockiness. If you go see him and his ritual after he scores a goal and all this kind of stuff, the goleador that he is, that he pretty much is 100% into the game, not of his just ego and his persona of what he has to do, but he uplifts himself. He's actually a competitor. I mean, that is what it is. And that's the way he competes. So when he missed the goal the other day, right, he missed this. It was something I've never seen before, and let's do it. Is that right? TDUS? No. See, it's already coming up here. Let's see if I can get the best one here. We're gonna go here, and I watch these highlights on this YouTube channel. A lot of soccer the last 2 weeks. It's heaven for me. I just want you to get the pressure, and also they end up winning the game. Okay, so I just want you to understand that his whole heart is into it. This is his whole life. Besides being one of the most famous people in the world, and cocky mofo, this is everything. And at this juncture in his life, 39, he's lost a step. He's not playing in the top leagues anymore. He went to Saudi Arabia. They're paying $100 million a year, even more. And he's coming into this tournament and knowing that this could be his last Euro tournament, and he's had opportunities to score and he hasn't. When he was given the most easiest one, supposedly what he's known at, the hitting the penalties in the most critical part of the game, he missed it. Now the game went into penalties later. He actually made a penalty kick in the round, and the other teammates did, and they advanced. Tomorrow they're playing France in the quarterfinal, and it's a big game. So that's my thing. And here's the start time for tomorrow. It's 9 p.m. Hamburg, Germany. And we're going to just quickly look at things. We could see Mercury's moving along here, whatever. But this is the thing I was looking at where I was going all over. My mind started popping off. Because tomorrow when the game starts in Hamburg, you see that just the ascendant time of the game is at 3 degrees Capricorn. That goes with the 5:25 a.m. birth time. Okay, so for me, I was like, I didn't make a final decision on which birth time is right, but looking at this, I was like, okay, this is interesting, Saturnian something, right? So knowing that, we see that, Mars is on his north node in this house of pleasures and movement, and along with Uranus. Uranus is on his north node right now. It's also opposite his Saturn. We're Saturn in the sky right now. It's retrograde, as we know, along with Neptune. Here's what I think about tomorrow. I think Portugal loses the game tomorrow, not based on the astrology, just from a tactical thing. I don't think they could beat France. I think, again, I just think France has too many good players, and they always come up with shit out of the blue to pull off a game in the end. I don't see it. The key thing here is if he scores a goal, and he hasn't scored a goal yet in the Euro Cup, and he's known to score in the big games, and he hasn't. The last couple games, the services and balls that go in on corner kicks and all that, he usually can hit with his head. He hasn't been able to do it. So I think here, he's going to be in a Saturnian situation. The only way they win the game, I think, in certain situations, if you watch this, is if he, and I don't think he can do this, I don't think he can do it, is if he takes himself out of the star role, or him supposed to be the one, the best one on the pitch, the best person on the team, that he plays a team game, which he usually does. But I think because of what happened the other day with everyone seeing that he's crying, you had a lot of sports pundits saying about this person that his crying is more than a team, that he's always dramatic, that's all about him, which I could see that because of all the fire in his chart and what it is, but in his mystique that he has that we talked about earlier. But at this time and this age, this is it. And for me, I publicly see him having, what is it, the word seed off, something like he can't be the person. And it could be like where there's a play in the game where he would normally be in the situation to, let's say, shoot for the goal, or he had it, but instead he passes the ball to somebody else or makes the right tactical move that has nothing to do with him scoring, that it has to do with the team winning and somebody else scoring. Now, I saw him do this three games ago where he could have shot and did it, and he passed it off, and it's there. But because this is a knockout game, and it's a game where whoever loses is gone, you don't get a second chance, I think there is a moment in time tomorrow where the torch is passed. And I think they're going to lose the game, and it's a reminder that he is not what he used to be, and that he has to let go of that. And this is someone who's never, ever let go of something like that. This is a person who's never want to be second or third or let go. They're always competing. This is the type of competitor like Michael Jordan, all these people. They'll find something to fuel them. Doesn't matter what their body's telling them, how old they are, whatever it is. They still think in their mind that they are the best. And as a goal scorer, to be the best, you have to think that like that constantly. But I think there's something to the tomorrow situation, a moment in the game or the game as a whole, where that is broken. That is changed. And whether we see it or not from him internally, a realization that it's not what it used to be. Now, it actually could happen in a play. I'm just saying that. And Kay says it's really hard for a Leo moon to do. It is. Right? So anyway, I need to see something here. Mars squaring his sun. Jupiter is at a wide trine to his sun. Jupiter, Mercury, that's pretty good. That's okay. Jupiter, Moon, that's pretty good. Mercury's doing good things to his Venus and Mars and Leo. I still don't see them winning the game. But we're talking about him. And I'm not doing an event chart. Like if we were looking at the chart for the game, you got to look at it differently. I'm not quite proficient on that yet, and I don't want to do that for sports because that's a dark hole. It's a black hole. But we see, man, We see the Neptune thing on his Venus and Mars. On his ascendant. Is this right? Start time? No. You know what's part of fueling this for me is that in the last year, I'm going to leave the chart up. In the last year, 2 years, he went through this major battle where he left an Italian team, Juventus, and he went back to England to play for Manchester United, where back when he was young, he exploded and flourished on that team that set him off into the stratosphere, where he eventually went to the biggest team in the world, Real Madrid, and played them, and that's where he pure peaked. It's wild, a career. So he went back to Manchester United and didn't do well there and didn't fit with the coach, and there was a lot of drama here the last couple years for him to get let go of the team. He never finished the season. He was in cahoots with the coach. It turned on him, and then he basically professed that he wouldn't go play in Saudi Arabia because at this point, Saudi Arabia, they've been the oil money there. They've been trying to get any player to play in their league to showcase their league, and the league is just not up to par with European leagues. They're just not. But basically, he made a decision, and he moved to go play in Saudi Arabia for an insane amount of money every year. Now, the other famous player in the world, Lionel Messi, who he's always been matched up against, is everybody in the world either picks Lionel Messi or Ronaldo to compare who's the best. And they have a history together playing against each other. Lionel had a chance to go to Saudi Arabia and didn't take the money. 100 million plus, more, and actually went to play here in the United States in our half-assed league because of different reasons, because he wanted to get away from Europe, his family, and he's got a major tie-in financially to the league itself now in the broadcasting rights, all this crazy stuff. What I'm saying to you is for Cristiano to leave the meccas of football and soccer, which are European leagues, to go play in Saudi Arabia had to be a switch up, and this started to happen. This started to happen when the eclipses were happening in Libra and Aries. So regardless of the birth time, they're happening angular. And so, he's done okay in the Saudi league, but he's getting older. You could see it. And this particular tournament was for him to be back into where the big boys play and to show off his skills like he always has. He has a wild history in World Cups and European Cups. 2004, today's the anniversary of Greece beating Portugal, one of the best days of my life. In the European Championships, Portugal ended up winning the European Championships Cup when Cristiano was a player on a team, and he still is the player. And he's the face of the Portuguese soccer team. Anyway, but these eclipses that are happening here, I think, is a change and a shift. And they just coincide with how old he is. And even if we go look at his dad's chart, that's part of the reason why I brought his father's death up, is because this is when 18 and a half years ago, when his father passed and he was in a stratosphere. One of the best, about to go in a great point in his career, but even bigger right after that. And I think we've come full circle on a nodal return on this, and it has to do, in the end, and this is my conclusion of why, it has to do with Mars-Venus story. And in his case, a Mars-Venus story in Aries and what's happened. You would think that the North Node happening and hitting his Mars and Venus and Aries and ruling all that it would be even more. But I actually think that remember, North Node will consume and consume and consume, and it doesn't mean you win all the time. Sometimes you burn out, and sometimes changes happen regardless. And they happen here in the Capricorn part of his chart, whether it's first house or the top of his chart. You have things squaring that during the last year and a half of eclipses. I actually think that after this Euro Cup, when we get to the next season that's starting in Saudi Arabia and stuff, there is going to be another storyline that goes on with him and a certain change that we're going to see. And I think that's coming away with the eclipses coming here And let's just do that really quick. I'll show you. We'll actually pick this chart right here. This is October 2nd, 2024. We'll put it over this particular chart. You could see here, these eclipses are happening at the top of this chart. It's, South Node eclipse. If this is the case, if this is the top of his chart, if it isn't, we'll look here just to take a look. It happens in his relational house. Regardless, it's angular. But if you look, this eclipse happens at 10, and you're looking at the South Node on, whether it's descendant in this case, or at the top of his chart, North Node on his Mars and Aries, all that stuff. This is sneaking in there, but that happened a while ago, the Chiron thing. The other thing we're looking at is Pluto one more time hitting his Jupiter. And Pluto in Aquarius, or Pluto in Capricorn, started in 2008. It just ended. It's been ending slowly here. And if we go, you can go look at his career. I don't want to do this right now, but you can go look at where from early 2005 around his father, all the way from 2008, all the way to the Pluto and Capricorn cycle. It's done, and it's hitting its Jupiter here. There's just a couple weird things here to me that I'm like, and then there's age. So I'm not doing the best job on this. That's why I want to keep it simple. Again, I'm going to point out a video that, here, I'll put it in chat because of Yasmina. And I've been on Yasmina's channel before. And Katrina, too, they're both great astrologers. I will put this link. Actually, I'm going to get a hold of them. I've been talking to them or messaging them because we've been watching the games and shit. But, got to talk to them again. We'll definitely be watching the game tomorrow. But here's their video. You can watch it. They both break down Cristiano and his life. Now, they did this video in March of this year. There's other videos out there by the other astrologers talking about stuff. But I think it's not exactly what you see in the chart here. It's a conversation that they have at certain times here that they point out some really good stuff that has to do with his past, and other things. And you can go check it out if you want, if you're into this. So anyway, that's a rough thing right there. Listen, the game tomorrow, the odds are in France, okay? French to win. But France and Portugal to get to this point actually got kind of lucky to get to this point. I don't think they're playing the strongest out of the many teams that are left, like Germany and Spain. They're playing really well, and the Netherlands, they're really good. Turkey pulled out a great game the other day. But, these two teams, they're not at their strongest. And so tomorrow, we'll see what happens. Game's on at 12 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. I'll be in the car listening to the game. And I'm just really curious, though, if you're into this drama kind of stuff and what it is, and you want to watch the game just to watch him as a player, the camera's always going to be on him, and let's see if there is a feeling of a passing of a torch or an era that's ending that we see before our eyes with him publicly during the game. If they somehow pull a miracle win, is the miracle win pulled off with him sacrificing and doing something that has nothing to do with what he's built up and known for? I just have a feeling about this. So anyway, Danny says, this feels so strange. My son's chart is very familiar. He's aggressive. He still plays soccer, yells at a kid after the game when his son is not aggressive enough. Oh, man. You get family and parents at sporting events. It's like so crazy what happens in the crowd. Man, he's asking, what do the second house transits look like with the other birth time? Oh, I didn't see that. You can kind of look. This person's life is like, there's so many events. There's from, children born out of a surrogate to a a Russian model that they were with, to another girlfriend that they're with, has a kid with, to at one point being accused of sexual assault. If you go read about this and certain things, and then it got dropped, and you make a judgment call on that. If you go read about this, you'll see what I'm talking about the case wasn't strong enough, and it was in Vegas supposedly, and all this crazy stuff. I'm not going to make a call on that. You could take a look at that. There's a lot of things from his career to signing, getting the trophies. I've looked at some of the stuff and the timing. I just didn't. It needs more, for me, more organization, and I have to timeline it out the way I do stuff like this. But for me, because the game is tomorrow, whatever. And not only that, I want to do this now because in about, let's see when this happens. There's another game that's happening. There's another game that's happening that's huge for me, and it has to do with here. That's at 6 o'clock p.m. in an hour from now, less than an hour. One of my teams where I'm from, my blood makeup, half of me, Ecuador, is in a knockout game for the Copa America against Argentina, which has the other most famous player in the world, Lionel Messi, which is for another time to talk about this person's chart. And there he is there. That game is in less than 40 minutes, and I need to watch it. And Ecuador needs to pull off a miracle, which I don't think they could do it, but whatever. And it's kind of the reason why I don't look at charts, and there's people out there going to make bets and do electional charts, fucking crazy shit with astrology to do. It's the wrong thing to do. You don't do that, especially I don't do that, So it's not like you're going to hear me say I think because of this, so-and-so on the ascendant Capricorn that France is going to win and put $20,000 on the game. No, I'm not. It's no. Kay says, ooh, that Aries, Venus, Mars, and Leo moon, bless his heart. Other people would beg to differ because half the world can't stand him. The other half loves him. And it's because the other half of the world loves Lionel Messi, and there's this thing. Okay, so let me look at something one more time. There's 10-20 there. I don't know. But what we do know is the last 3 years he's had, and he's got Uranus opposite his Saturn. Again, regardless of what the house system or what the birth time is, he's had major eclipses happen, and when his career was going off and going into Saudi Arabia, into this Aries Libra thing, and they're both, as you know, watching with the Scorpio South Node. I've done a lot of videos on this. Even now, the last 3 years of eclipses we had are Mars and Venus stories. And so for me, regardless of the birth time, I just think he's been through a lot with Mars and Venus in his life, or in the last 3 years. And I think, no matter what birth time we do, it is angular now. So if he's having a South Node transits, it's happening here, or it's happening in his 7th. So, and it hits its cardinal points. And let's just see one more thing. Actually, that's actually the eclipse, but let's just do one more thing. I'm curious. Here is December. We're going into November, December, where the nodes are on his Mars and Venus and squaring his Neptune and his ascendant. The closer we get to December is there. Yeah. Yep. Mars, that's when the Mars retrograde station happens that week, by the way. It's 6 degrees Leo. And then you can also see nodal story, Uranus coming back. He basically here, if we're looking at right here, we're looking at, this isn't exact, but we're looking right here at Uranus, all year long opposite his Saturn. the ruler of his ascendant possibly, or the top of his chart. And then we see officially here, even next year is when it really hits it again. So pretty much now, all the way through this year and all the way through the 18th, you're not going to see this very well. May 18th next year, Uranus is opposite his Saturn. And that Saturn is, conjunct his south node. And right there. And regardless, if he's a Capricorn rising, rules his ascendant, or if it's the other way, no. It's amount of time. There's December 4th-ish, though. But you could see here, there's the node there. And then, yeah, what was I doing? Yeah, there's the node there. And then, you see there, his ascendant's there. But, no, what am I getting confused on? Let me think about this for a second. Oh, yeah, it was here. So, it was there, the Uranus there on his north node. It's Mars and Venus. It's Mars and Venus and Saturn. It's just, yeah. Anyway, go look at stuff. I mean, you can go look this stuff up. I didn't even talk about like when his twins were born from a surrogate and one of the twins died at birth. I mean, there's that in itself. There's a lot of stuff. Okay, that's it. Let's I want Portugal to win just to keep the drama going. They're not my two favorite teams, France and Portugal, honestly. So, I can give either way, but France has bothered me a little bit because I think they've been getting really lucky. But man, do they have the talent on that team. So there you go. There it is. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks everybody in chat. Thanks Mandy, Kay, Yelena, all of you. Who else did I miss here? Yeah. And yeah, only some of you are going to, there's only certain people, a small percentage of people are going to give a shit about this, to be honest. So, Let's go out how we started. Hey, Susie. See you in chat, too. I didn't catch that. Yeah, cheer for Ecuador. Cheer for Ecuador. They got some young people on the team, though. They could maybe pull it off, but Argentina gets all the breaks, the referees. Who knows? Yeah, I gotta talk to Yasmina, Katrina, because they're into this stuff. Go check out that video they did. Mandy says, I look at UFC fighter charts all the time. That's something I wanted to do, and I don't get into it. But there's a certain amount of astrologers I know, a small group of astrologers, and they're all very Mars-heavy people that we've talked about going to see a UFC match in Vegas one day, because I'm into that. I love sporting events. I used to work for a data service. I've been to crazy games my whole life. I love being in crowds of people in sporting events when there's 30, 40. I've been to a sporting event with 100,000 people in it. There is nothing like the rush of a game. And then if there's a team that you love that's involved, the roller coaster of emotions that happen. And I think with soccer and football, that the way the game flows and what it is, it's, the drama and what can happen, but it always happens in a way that you never thought of again. And that's the beauty of the beautiful game, football. And I have a feeling we're going to have some of that tomorrow and here in 45 minutes with the Ecuador game. If Ecuador can hold on, just keep me going here. That's why I got this music today. All right, so thanks for hanging out with me. I think I did okay. I'm not claiming anything. I did claim some things. The birth time thing is like is such a trip. It's such a trip. Let's put that in the chat again. Or I lost that page. You can go look up at Astro Databank what I'm talking about in the chat. All right. See you, everybody. Take it easy. Be safe out there. Have a good 4th. I'm going to disappear for a little bit here. I might not do a weekly forecast for the weekend because I got to disappear. It's going to be 100 degrees for 4 straight days. I'm not going to be sitting in front of hot lights like this. I got other things to do and chill and a lot of soccer to watch. Take care of yourselves, okay? We'll go out. We'll go out this way. We'll go out with the beats. Take care, everybody. Thanks for the support. If you're not into soccer, maybe you are now. Maybe you'll watch the game tomorrow. And then we'll check in on it, okay? Adios.